Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna do a review of how our homeschool summer went. At the time of filming this video, we're about a week and a half away from our new school year starting for my rising kindergartner and my rising second grader. Summer went by really, really fast. I'm actually talking to you on the eve of us going on our annual beach vacation that we always go on with my husband's family. So it's kind of like the final bye-bye to summer because when we get back, we'll be delving in full force into our full school year. So we've finally finished up summer school. Some of it was more routine and organized. Some of it was loosey-goosey, and sometimes we didn't do anything in a day. But I feel like that's what summer's for, right? It's to follow our interests, have fun learning about a new topic, and kind of keep some of our skills a little sharp, which I feel like we did a good job of doing. Now, to preface, this summer started off pretty rough. The first week of summer school, unfortunately, we had to put my oldest dog down. I've had him since my senior year of college, so that was a really, really tough week for us. And then the following week, I had to make a rushed appearance to the emergency room, which I've never gone to the emergency room before, for some abdominal pain. We're still not quite sure what happened after quite a lot of money spent, but thankfully no issues have come up since. It wasn't appendicitis, which is what we thought it was, so I didn't have to do any surgery, thankfully. But the first 2 weeks were a little rocky with everything going on there. But once those 2 weeks were over, everything got a lot easier, a lot more fun. I was able to grieve and push through with my poor puppy, but eventually things brightened up and our summer felt like it was finally a summer. Now, speaking about curriculum, and let's not talk about the negatives, I don't want to dwell on that, but speaking about curriculum, the shining star this summer, and if you saw my previous video, you know what I'm about to say, was me and my amazing body from the Little School of Smiths. My girls and I absolutely loved this unit study. It's a 10-unit study about basically anatomy for elementary student level children. We finished the entire thing. We did a good amount of the activities. There is a feast in here of things that you can do, you can read, you can watch, activities. There was cooking, etc. I'm not going to go into depth on this. Go check out my last video. I'll link it above here. If you're interested in checking out this unit study, highly, highly recommend. But I'll leave that to my other video. So go check that out. But definitely recommend 100%. My kiddos said it's the most favorite thing they've done in homeschooling yet. So this was a big hit. So we actually ended up adding a few things and dropping a few things this summer. If you had watched my previous video about what we were choosing for our summer homeschooling curriculum and what our plans were, I'll link that video up above. We did shake up some things from those original picks. So first I was going to talk about what we added, and then there was a few things that we decided not to continue to do anymore this summer. So talking about my oldest daughter first, she is going into the second grade. If you're not familiar with my channel or you've never heard me speak before, my oldest daughter and my youngest use Math with Confidence. We went on a major math journey to find the right curriculum for my oldest, and Math with Confidence seems to be a perfect hit. However, I actually decided, and she was okay with this and on board, I checked with her, taking a break. We weren't done with first grade yet because we had bounced around from curriculum to find the right one. So we have a few more weeks left of grade 1 Math with Confidence that we're going to pick up when second grade starts. But she is a very young second grader. She just turned 7, whereas some of her peers that she knows that are going into second grade are about to turn 8. So she's very young, so I'm not concerned that she's still doing a little bit of first grade math right now. But I thought instead, let's take a break, because math can be emotional for her if she gets overwhelmed with it and she doesn't like it. And we tried something new, which is completely different from Math with Confidence. But I decided to get the Math Mammoth review set. It's not their full curriculum, it is their skills review workbooks. And I say plural because they were running a massive deal, and I think for $28 I got grade 1 through 7, and they come in PDF form and you just print them out, and I bound them. And so I thought, let's just use the summer to review the concepts that you've already worked on. And it's a little different because Math with Confidence is very hands-on, whereas this is very much workbook focused. And I think coming at the math in a different way this summer, and also reviewing things that she already knew to help build her confidence was the right way to go. We actually almost completed this entire thing. Almost, I say we probably got about 70% of it done. We're almost basically up to where she is with Math with Confidence, with the concepts. And it's kind of cool because Math Mammoth, I think, pairs really well with Math with Confidence because they're both Singapore conceptual mastery based, and their scope and sequences are very similar. They might do them like out of order, the topics, but they're very similar. So I think we'll actually be pairing this with Math with Confidence moving forward for just a little bit of extra practice and to really drill in the concepts. And she really, really enjoyed this. So this was a big hit. I'm glad I went ahead and pulled the trigger for $28. I got all the files up until 8th grade or 7th grade. You know, I thought it was a great deal. Worst case, they didn't like it. Oh well, it's fine. We spent $28, but it was a big hit, and I think my youngest is gonna like this too because she's really into workbooks too. So I think we'll kind of be doing a Math with Confidence and Math Mammoth pairing moving forward. The second thing I added in for my oldest was I made her a book of word searches. So we started doing All About Spelling this past year, and she really, really loved the word search component of All About Spelling. So she asked me, can you get me a word search book that I can do, for school? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea because I really think it helps her identify words, how they're spelled. There's so many things that I think word searches are really good for, but I really couldn't find one that I really liked. And frankly, I was like, I have a printer machine, I have a binding machine, I'm just gonna make my own because there's so many free printouts for word searches out on the internet. So I just went ahead and found a bunch, printed them off, and then I made this whole thing on Canva. I thought it was super cute. It says Emery's word search, and then a little quote that I think describes her really well. A wise girl knows her limits. A smart girl knows she has none. But so we started that this summer, and what we will be doing is one word search a week, even moving into the school year. So we'll do that on Fridays, our fun Fridays. So it's a fun thing for her to do. And so she did about, I think 4 this summer is what we had scheduled. So that was a big hit, and she was very excited about that. Moving on to my youngest daughter, if you watched any of my videos before this, you know that we added this in because I did a little bit of a mini haul and included this in here. But for those of you who are new here, we did add in Get Ready for the Code Workbook A. I bought the first 3, A, B, and C. So we added this in this summer. We will be continuing this into the next year. Or this school year. She really, really likes it. I mean, I'm looking at this. She made it halfway through this book this summer. She was like, can I do one more page? One more page. To be fair, A was probably a little too easy for her, but I didn't know where to start. I couldn't really get a good gauge online which book I should put her in. And she's 4, gonna be 5 in August. So I thought, why not just start from the beginning? It's not, she's not a 6-year-old who's already been doing a lot of reading and phonics work. So I thought it wouldn't hurt anything to start with book A. But she's really enjoying this. I get why everybody, recommends Explode the Code. So we'll be breezing through this and just keep on going to the next workbook and the next one. So something else I added in for my youngest is another reading type activity or curriculum, if you want to call it that. So if you've seen my previous videos, you know that we use Ordinary Parents Guide to Teaching Reading from a Well-Trained Mind as our phonics program. And my youngest really likes it. She likes the back and forth conversation, the repetition. She likes the memory, the memorizing of the poems and things like that. She just really likes that. So that connects really well with her. But I really wanted to try out, because I saw them everywhere and it's FOMO and I can't stop. McGuffey readers, the revised edition ones. And I found that they were on the Gutenberg project. So they're public domain. So the Gutenberg project has them and you can download them to your iPad. And I pulled it up and I let her look at it. It doesn't have any of the illustrations in the version that I had, which kind of stinks because it kind of connects with the lessons. But I was like, hey, let's go through my iPad. Can you read this for me? And she went through the first 4 lessons this summer. And she was reading the words through it. I mean, she was going, like if it said cat, it was k-at, cat. And then she would say, and at, rat. That's how she reads right now. She's just learned her phonics and she's just learning how to blend, which I am very impressed with her and I think she's doing wonderfully. I don't know if she's on par or ahead or whatever. I don't care. She's doing wonderfully. That's all I care about. But I wanted some kind of reader, a primer that we could use for her. So then I also, after she went through a few lessons this summer doing that, just to fun to test it out, I found Under the Home is a free Charlotte Mason curriculum online if you would like to check it out. They've got everything, I think, from first grade or kindergarten to 5th grade, I think. And I don't know if they're going to do any grades after that, but I know that's what they have available so far. But what they have is the McGuffey readers and lessons. Oh, I probably should do a screen share for this one. I'm going to try and do this. But they have the lessons here, and they have the illustrations that were included in the original McGuffey reader. And then they also have all the words underneath. And the best part is, listen to this. You can click on it and it'll say the word for you. So my daughter can check herself. She uses the pen and taps it. Before I even found this, I asked her, do you want me to buy the book? I showed her the book online. She goes, no, I like it on the screen, because when she was doing it in my e-reader, she was highlighting the words and it allowed her to focus on them. I'm not totally keen on her using a screen a ton, but I think if this is the only thing she does that is screen focused, because nothing else we do she uses a screen for, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, basically, in moderation, right? If ever later on when she gets older, maybe we might move to the actual physical books, but she really likes this. She likes how it works. And then on top of that, if you go to Under the Home, if you go to, so it's on the lesson, if you click lesson guide, this is for me, the parent, it tells me what to do. It tells me how to turn this one page from the primer, because this is primer, excuse me. This is their first book, the primer. It tells me how to turn this into a whole lesson. We can pull copywork from this, dictation, narration, all of it. She can write her words. She can learn spelling from this. So I think, I don't know, guys, I think I might turn this into my language arts. It makes it a lot easier. Not to say that we won't narrate other things and we won't pull copywork from other stuff, but like this be the minimum that we do every week to get our language arts done. Anything else on top of that from history or science or other literature that we're reading would just be gravy, right? If we're doing narrations and copywork. So she really likes this. My oldest saw my youngest doing this with me and she goes, well, mommy, I want to try it. So I just picked, I brought up the first grade book, the first book from McGuffey's Readers. And I went to lesson 15 and I had her read this, and she didn't have any problems reading this, but I didn't want to go too far. So I might start her just here. And then if she races through the first couple of lessons till she gets to where she is, then that's fine. So I think we're going to use this as part of our language arts moving forward this year. Not me trying to add something else to our plate. I'm crazy. I am. Okay. So the other thing that we added for both girls to do together was a literature study for Little Women. And we did the classic starts because it was my first time reading a true classic to my daughters, and I just didn't know if they would have been able to sit for the original unrevised, unabridged version. Now that we've read through this, I think they absolutely could have handled it, but I'm glad we started with this to begin with, just dipping our toes into the classics. I've changed my mind, if you've watched my previous videos, on having your kids read the original. They might not get everything. They might ask questions, which is great because then you can have a conversation about it. Like even when it comes to vocabulary, like we're reading a book right now where my daughter, I think she stopped me today. We read one chapter. She stopped me about 8 times asking about 8 individual words, what that meant. And I thought it was it took us forever to get through the chapter, but it was a great opportunity to discuss vocabulary and what things mean in the context of the story so that she'll remember it better. So I actually think it's great and a good idea to stretch your child a little bit with their literature selection. So this was a big hit. The girls love Little Women. This version takes the kids up to when Meg gets married. So Beth gets sick, but it doesn't go to the part where unfortunately later on when they're adults, she passes away. So it doesn't hit those tough topics. However, we decided to watch the PBS 3-part mini series, and by Masterpiece, I think, I don't know. It was so well done, by the way. Great quality, amazing series. The girls loved it. That did keep going and filmed the girls into the adulthood, and unfortunately they did then they realized Beth did pass away later, and they were a little confused why it was not the same as the book and why there was two different endings. And I explained that this only did the first half of the story and the series went a little farther. And we did talk we did a Venn diagram of how was the book different from the series. And but I will say they did it very well. It was very tastefully done. The girls honestly were actually slightly confused. They're like, wait, did she pass away or not? Because it's just the way they filmed it was very well done, and it was not, if you have a sensitive learner, I think they would still be okay with it, if I guess is the best way to explain it. But very well done. Really recommend that series. Loved this book. The girls loved it. They love anything with sisters and girls, and it's just very relatable to them. Something else we did along with Little Women was a lap book, both my daughters, from Confessions of a Homeschooler is where we got this one. This was our first time doing a lap book, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I thought the concept was a really good idea. The girls seemed really excited about it when I explained it to them and I showed it to them on my computer before I printed everything off. I think it was great in theory. Logistically, for my daughters and the ages that they are, because they were 4 and 6 when we were doing this, my 4-year-old absolutely can't write yet. So that was, I don't even know why I thought she'd be able to do this, because a lot of it's not just cutting out and pasting. It's, writing answers to the prompts for each of these, for each chapter. My youngest, there's no hope there, but she loved coloring and cutting out the things, so I still let her do it. You'll see here, she put it all in there. There's just no answers if you lift the flaps on some of them. Like I wrote that one for her, but on some of them I stopped writing because it was just a lot of work on me and I felt like she wasn't getting anything out of it. My oldest, I felt like was getting more out of it, but at a certain point, about halfway through the book and halfway through doing the lap book, as you can see, it's just not filled up because we didn't finish it. She just kind of was like, I just want to read the book and narrate and talk to you and the questions that you're asking me, because I did have them narrate verbally out loud, orally. Even my 4-year-old, I was like, what was your favorite part? Or tell me in your words, what was that chapter about? And she actually gave me some good answers. I was actually impressed of how much she could recall and how much she was listening. But I think just because of their young ages, that's why this was kind of a bit of a flop. I'm not opposed to revisiting lap books, but I think we're going to take a couple years off before trying them again, just based on my kiddos and their ages. So we talked about things that we added. Now let's talk about the 2 things that we actually dropped from our summer. The first thing was for my oldest daughter. We were originally going to continue finishing up grade 1 of Evan Moore's daily 6-trait writing. I'm going to put a picture here. I don't have it with me up here because we started that halfway through this past year, and my oldest seemed to really enjoy it initially, but then it felt like it was kind of going to be a little bit of extra busy work, and she, with all the narration and the copy work we were doing, it kind of felt redundant and a little bit of just excess busy work is what it felt like. But I was like, you know what, we have it. Let's finish it up through the summer, because you're not going to really be doing a ton of copy work or anything like that. And I could just tell we were slogging through it. And I looked at Emery one day, my oldest, and I said, do you want to keep doing this? She goes, no, I don't, Mom. I really want to stop. And her cute little face as she was saying that, because she was just trying to do it to oblige me. I really appreciated that, but I was like, babe, let's stop then. So we dropped that. We had no intention of continuing into the 2nd grade level after the summer. So I was like, why are we pushing through just to finish this, just to finish it? That's what we were doing. So we dropped that. The second thing that we dropped was for my youngest daughter. We just dropped it for the summer. We're going to pick it back up here once we start school in a week and a half, is the Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading. I kind of wanted to give my youngest a break on phonics. Since we had added this was a little bit more fun. I was testing out the McGuffey reader with her. I felt like it was too much phonics. So I was like, let's just hang tight on that. We'll put a pin in it and go and start at the lesson that we left off when school starts. And she was cool with that. And it's not because I didn't like the program or anything. We love it. We're still continuing with it. We had so much going on. So what we've decided, based on testing out the McGuffey readers this summer, again, I'm going to try and just do Under the Homes online version. I'm really itching to buy the books, but my kiddos want to try it that way. So we'll give it a shot. If not, I'll go ahead and buy the books. But my plan is this fall, with my youngest, what we're going to do is we are going to do every other day we're gonna do a McGuffey reader lesson or an Ordinary Parent's Guide to Teaching Reading lesson. We're just gonna alternate them and just work our way through them this year, and we'll finish where we land. I'm not planning to get to a certain point in either program. I don't care. We're just gonna keep going at our own pace wherever her reading skills start to pick up. With my oldest, I'm gonna add in the McGuffey reader lessons twice a week. We're just gonna do them Tuesdays and Thursdays. She's a pretty strong reader, so I think even just doing 2 lessons a week will be sufficient. She'll blow through it. I'm not worried about it. So, and we'll be getting our copy work from that as well. We might pull some from Charlotte's Web, which is our first book that we're reading, and then the other free reads that we're going to do, but we're going to at least take some from the McGuffey readers. So that was all we had. We did 5 weeks of summer school, and it was really light. It was maybe an hour and a half a day. And we did do some math, of course. I didn't mention that. We did our Math with Confidence for my youngest. My oldest, we did Math with Confidence, I think the first 2 weeks, and then we moved over to the Math Mammoth. And then we finished up, and I was planning to have 3 weeks off. So the past 2 weeks, and then this upcoming week while we're at the beach. My oldest had other plans in mind. She wanted us to start American Girl US History, which I thought about. I was like, that's actually not a bad idea, because we can slow play that, start that, and because it is heavy literature reading. And with everything we got going on, I thought maybe it was a good idea to test it out by itself with no other curriculum being done. And I'm glad we did, because I'm thinking what I might do with American Girl doll is I might do 1 week over 2 weeks, and even do it on our breaks, because the girls just like reading the books. Like for them, even if we just read all the girls books, like these ones, they'd be happy. We don't even need to do the extra activities. So I think that's the way I'm going to do it. I don't want to pressure ourselves to push through this and we just got to read it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel pressured to get each girl done in 4 weeks. If it's 5 weeks, if it's 6 weeks, I think that's fine. So I will say, because it was the only thing we were doing, we were able to stay on schedule, and we did the first 2 weeks of Kaya. So we're halfway through Kaya, because she's the first girl, because she's in 1764. So we did Meet Kaya, and we just finished up today Kaya's Escape. Very harrowing stories, by the way. I never read Kaya. There's a few of the American Girls when I was younger I didn't read, and Kaya was one of them. And great story, like lots of action, and the girls are really interested. But we've learned a ton about the Nez Perce tribe, also known as the Nimi-Poo. We've learned about, here I've got some books from the library, because there's lots of literature suggestions that she provides. We've learned about Appaloosa horses. Here's one of the books that we learned about the Nez Perce. This one's a good nighttime read, The Girl Who Loved Wild Horses. And we've been doing some fun notebooking narrations so far. So this is my oldest daughter's notebook. I got my youngest one just like this, and we put her, she's not quite there yet for this. I'm going to keep it up there. If she wants to do drawings in it, great. If she wants to do some of the narration, the notebooking, great. But I'm not going to force her, because again, she's 4, about to be 5, but she's still 4. And then if we don't use this notebook or her notebook for this, we'll just keep it, and it's a sketchbook, so we'll just use it for sketch paper, because it's perforated, so you can take it out. But here's an example of what we've done so far. So this is my oldest daughter's first entry. That's supposed to be Kaya, and it said, the Nez Perce eat salmon and live in teepees. The boys wear their hair long and loose or in braids. That's what she told me, and I wrote it down for her, because again, she's still young. I'm not going to force her to do all the handwriting yet. And then we did a map work of the Pacific Northwest, where the Nez Perce were. So here's the Cascade Mountains, the Rocky Mountains, the different lakes or rivers, Salmon River, Clearwater River, that they normally were in. And then the last one that second to last one we did was draw a cartoon horse. This is my oldest daughter's, and we did a little narration about Appaloosa horses. And then, last but not least, naming the parts of the Appaloosa. So, needless to say, my oldest is loving the curriculum. So we're going to take our time with this, move through it at our own pace this year. Even if we don't complete it, we'll probably just move it in, finish it up into the summer. But yeah, it's been a big hit thus far, so I'm glad we decided to start this off before school year started, so we could see, like, kind of test it out. What is it going to be like schedule wise? Okay, guys, that's all I had to say. Of course, I got chatty again. I am terrible. I try to keep my videos under 20 minutes and I don't ever meet my goal. So I'm really sorry if you're still here with me. Thank you for hanging around. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button for further updates on American Girl doll history, what we're gonna be doing this year for homeschooling, curriculum, how I get things done from the mom perspective, everything homeschooling. Stick around for that. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.